What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I am wrestling with myself. I've been doing a string of videos this week, getting a lot of content done. I've gotten for you NFL fans my NFC and AFC playoff predictions in 2 different videos. Go check those out. For you horror fans, movie fans, I have my Halloween franchise review and rankings from yesterday. That's up on my channel now. And for you wrestling fans, once again, I am finally wrestling with myself after a long layoff. 2017 is upon us. The new year is finally here, which means all of the year in review stuff from 2016. I hope that you're enjoying this new year. Hopefully it's going good for you as wrestling fans and as people. I have not seen Wrestle Kingdom 11 yet from New Japan, but I've heard it's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing Omega and Okada in that show-stealing match of the year main event. But we have 2016 awards to take care of. I have my list over here on the side I'm looking at. But I listed all the categories for the major wrestling awards for 2016, and I wanted to give you guys my opinions. I didn't do rankings or anything. I just put my winner for each category that I'll go over with you guys, and you guys can discuss your opinions on what your winners were and what you think of my choices down below in the comments. So I have, I think, 9 categories here, and I'll give them to you in ascending order. The first was Brand of the Year. Now, it's been a rough year for wrestling in terms of branding. Lucha Underground being taped so far in advance makes it a rough choice, and they've made some weird choices this year. They are not what they used to be in terms of how good they were in Season 1 and for part of Season 2. Lucha Underground's kind of fallen off. Ring of Honor's kind of fallen off. They've lost a lot of talent this year to NXT, WWE, New Japan. The booking of Delirious has not been the greatest. They haven't really used guys properly. They have kind of the wrong guys in the main event, with the Briscoes being solo. So Ring of Honor has fallen off a lot. Even New Japan has their booking with sort of the same guys on top, always having Okada and Tanahashi kind of being 1 and 2 and not leaving room for a lot of new talents. So their booking's been a little rough. TNA, we already know what a shitstorm TNA Impact is and how bad they've been. Even though their programming has gotten a little better toward the end of the year, they're just in such dire financial straits and just such repetitive gaga and just not no buzz or hype around the promotion. And by the same token, WWE, despite having an awesome roster and great wrestling matches, has been booked very terribly for the most part throughout the year. So there was not a lot of great brands to pick for wrestling company / promotion / brand of the year. With that being said, I took NXT. NXT has fallen off from where it used to be. The star power is not quite there. The cards aren't as stacked because most guys have moved up to the main rosters now, to Raw or SmackDown. And SmackDown was a close number 2. Despite only being its own brand for a few months, SmackDown's been a very, very good brand. They've clearly won the brand split so far, so they were a close number 2 as my favorite brand for 2016. My favorite brand overall is NXT. They've had a lot of great matches and programs throughout the year, with Revival against DIY, Revival against Alpha, Asuka against Bayley, Joe against Nakamura, Nakamura against Zayn. All these good feuds. Bringing Bobby Roode in, there's been a lot of good stuff for NXT, so I'm going to go with NXT as my choice for Brand of the Year. Then we have Match of the Year. This one is the hardest one to call. Match of the Year and Feud of the Year are so hard because there are so many good matches across every brand this year. Wrestling has been at its finest, possibly the best year for wrestling matches in the ring, maybe ever, as far as me being a fan. So, Match of the Year was so tough there, so many good matches. Cena vs. Styles from SummerSlam was amazing. DIY against Revival had 2 great matches. Alpha and Revival had a great match. You had the Miz and Ziggler having some awesome matches. Owens and Zayn at Battleground, they had 2 actually good matches. You had the IC title 4-way from Extreme Rules was amazing. So there was so many hard, tough picks on this one. But I had to choose finally overall from TakeOver Dallas at WrestleMania weekend, the best match of the entire WrestleMania weekend, in my opinion. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. It's Nakamura's debut. It's Zayn's last NXT match. The crowd's on fire. It's stiff as hell. It's back and forth. Great counters. Great effective audience. Good storytelling. Everything about this was awesome. So, despite being the toughest category to choose, my match of the year was Nakamura versus Zayn from NXT TakeOver Dallas. Moment of the year, best moment of the year. There's been several that I really enjoyed. It's been hard to call. I loved Kevin Owens winning the world title on Raw with Triple H's help. I loved it anytime the Shield would reunite for a moment in time. There's been so many good things here. Nakamura's debut in NXT, but my favorite moment of the year overall was AJ Styles' debut at the Royal Rumble. We sort of knew it was coming. Reports were already effective on the internet. But the fact that AJ Styles, a personal favorite of mine, and a guy that I've met several times and talked to, and a guy who I thought has been one of the best in the world for the past 12 years, who I've been wanting to see since his TNA early days, in WWE finally made his debut at the Royal Rumble, and the crowd went nuts, and he had a great showing, and they had the Roman Reigns stare-off, and they did this stuff with Kevin Owens, and he went on, of course, to have an amazing year, and you're going to see him a few more times in this list, but had probably the best year of anybody in wrestling, and maybe the best debut year of anybody in WWE history. So congrats to Styles on finally debuting at the Rumble. That's my personal favorite moment of the year. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. This one goes to The Miz. And Most Improved is kind of a weird label for this, because Miz, of course, has been around for 8, 9, 10 years already on the main roster. But the year The Miz has had since the brand split, and really since right after WrestleMania, has been amazing. Bringing back his wife Maurice has been great for his character. His promos have gotten off the charts. He was always a good talker, but his matches are better than ever now. He's had a great overall year. He won the Intercontinental title 2 or 3 times. He had a pretty good showing at WrestleMania. He had, was he in the ladder match at WrestleMania? I forget. But the feud with Ziggler, where he had like four amazing matches, was great. He had the great Talking Smack promo, which was one of the best moments of the year. The kind of off-the-cuff feud with Daniel Bryan. He's just been absolutely on fire this year, and he's come out of nowhere. He was really relegated to a mid-card opening match guy, and he came out of nowhere since winning the belt after Mania at Raw with Maurice, and has just been on fire. He's one of the MVPs of this year. He's one of the wrestlers of the year, so Most Improved, in my opinion, goes to The Miz. Then we had Feud of the Year. This was another incredibly hard one. Owens and Zayn had so many good moments in matches in their feud this year. Miz and Ziggler, again, were just excellent. They had really good stuff going on. Styles and Reigns had several good matches. Styles and Ambrose had 2 of the best matches of the year toward the end of the year on the SmackDown brand. They had a very good feud. Charlotte and Sasha had an excellent feud. That's one of the best of the year by far. They had 4 or 5 great matches and took women's wrestling to new heights this year for sure. But overall, I would say Feud of the Year for me was AJ Styles, once again, versus John Cena. Just the way this was done. I love the build-up to it. I love the promos. Styles turning heel with the club. Styles winning the opening match against Cena one-on-one. Having the good 6-man tag the month after where Cena got his pin back. And going into SummerSlam. And usually when you're facing John Cena as a newcomer that doesn't come from WWE and you're facing Cena, you're going to lose. You might win the first match, but you're going to lose the next 5. Just like Umaga, just like Rusev, just like Kevin Owens, just like Bray Wyatt. And usually after you face Cena, you get buried. This was not the case here. Not only did Styles win clean at SummerSlam, pin him in the middle of the ring, clean as a sheet with a finishing move, but also the storytelling in the match. The match at SummerSlam was amazing to close the feud out. Styles winning clean was amazing over Cena. Big moment at SummerSlam for him. Stole the show that entire weekend. But also, Styles kicking out of the top rope AA and Cena not being able to believe it. Cena not being able to, comprehend Styles' resistance and Styles' heart. They built him and told a good story and had good ring psychology and made him feel like a star. That's how you want to build a new talent coming in. Kicking out of big moves, coming back, beating Cena clean. And then, of course, the feud has been extending, too. Good promos back and forth since then, with Styles taking Cena's wristband, beating him in the 3-way with Ambrose. They've had amazing matches all year, so I'm giving this Styles versus Cena Feud of the Year. Woman of the Year, this was tough. There's a couple candidates. Asuka's had a great year. Bayley being called up, having good NXT matches earlier in the year was good. But this was really a 2-woman race for me. It was either Charlotte or Sasha. Both won the women's title back and forth several times and had great matches against each other and had one of the feuds of the year. But I'm going with Charlotte based on 2 things. The pay-per-view undefeated streak. She's never lost a singles match. On pay-per-view now, she's like 16-0 or something like that on pay-per-view this year in singles matches. Winning the belt from Sasha about 3 times on pay-per-view this year. And the character stuff, the stuff with Ric Flair, the stuff with the fans, going total heel, going heel on Dana Brooke, just being the character, on top of all the amazing matches with Sasha and being undefeated on pay-per-view, that character, that added edge, that improved mic work, that heel persona, has given her, in my opinion, Woman of the Year. We have a few more categories. Tag Team of the Year. This was tough. There are a few good tag teams. New Day, of course, breaking the all-time tag team title record from Demolition. American Alpha being amazing early on in NXT and then being, okay since being called up to SmackDown. DIY winning the tag titles and having a few amazing matches this year. But my tag team of the year is the Revival. They had a great year this year. They had the Mania weekend match with Enzo and Cass. That was awesome, defending their titles. They had the feud with American Alpha where they won the tag titles for the second time in an amazing match before Alpha was called up. And they had 2 Match of the Year candidates. 2 of the best matches of the entire year with DIY, Gargano, and Ciampa at the last 2 TakeOver specials. So they've just had an amazing year. Promos are getting better. They're straightforward. They're old school. No flips, just fists. Just cutting the ring off, using ring psychology, having the old school, gritty, brutal, brawling feel to them. I love the Revival. I hope they get over on the main roster. And their year, both in and out of the ring, has been amazing. So Revival is Tag Team of the Year. Wrestler of the Year, the biggest category here. No surprise here. You guys have heard my list already. You know AJ Styles has had an amazing year. And just being signed was enough for me. Coming out at the Rumble and debuting and having a good showing was huge. Biggest moment of the year for me. But then he goes on to have an amazing feud with Chris Jericho and be one of the show stealers of WrestleMania with Jericho. And then he goes on to the world title feud with Roman Reigns where they had 2 great matches that stood out. Then he goes on to the feud with John Cena where he pins John Cena twice and has 2 great matches along with one of the matches of the year at SummerSlam with Cena. Then he goes on to the Dean Ambrose feud where he has 2 of the best matches of the year, including that awesome TLC match where he won the world title first and defended it at the TLC match. And now he's going on to the end of the year, feuding once again with John Cena. Every match the guy's had this year has been good to great. He's had 5 or 6 major match of the year candidates, 3 great feuds since he debuted, and he's just been everything. He's been the complete package, everything advertised and more. So I think Styles easily here, by far, is the #1 wrestler of the year. Nothing against guys like Kenny Omega who are awesome in New Japan. Guys like Matt Hardy who had a career revival and did some good stuff with the Deletion, goofy stuff. I'm not really a fan of it, but he revived TNA in a lot of ways with Deletion. He had a good year. Miz had a great year. Kyle O'Reilly winning the ROH World title had an amazing year. Adam Cole returning to ROH, joining Bullet Club, winning back the title recently. He had a good year, but I think easily here, Wrestler of the Year is AJ Styles. Then finally, we have the predictions for 2017. I wanted to make a few brief predictions here just to close the video out since I just did the 2016 closeout. I'm going to make my own personal predictions for 2017. There are a couple. We're going to see a few Shield reunions this coming year, I think. Not official reunions because they're different brands and all that, but you're going to see a couple times where they get back together and do little teases like they've been doing. You might see a Shield tag team match this year, which will be exciting. I have Taker announce his retirement. So whether he wrestles at WrestleMania against Cena and then retires, or he announces that he's going to retire after next year's Mania, he's going to announce his retirement. He might not officially retire this year. He might. But if he doesn't, he'll announce retirement for next year. So either this year or next year, Taker retires. He's going to announce his retirement, I think, in 2017. Also, I have CM Punk wrestles somewhere. I don't think it'll be in WWE. I think that bridge is burned for right now. That's going to be years down the road if he comes back. But I think Punk will wrestle somewhere, whether it's Ring of Honor, whether it's New Japan, whether it's for some random spot show. I think Punk will wrestle. He lost the UFC fight. He's probably going to fight again at some point, but I think he's going to wrestle a match at some point this year. Cena beats record. I think he ties and breaks Ric Flair's title record this year. I think he might even do it at WrestleMania, beating Taker, or he might do it at Rumble, beating Styles or something like that this year. So I think Cena ties and then breaks Ric Flair's record for world titles in 2017. And finally, before that, I think Adam Cole, I think possibly Kyle O'Reilly, I think possibly Ray Rowe, I think those guys all end up in NXT or WWE this year. I think WWE continues their mass exodus of signing guys from Ring of Honor or New Japan. I wouldn't be totally surprised if we see guys like the Young Bucks and Omega sign, but I don't think so because they're re-signed to New Japan, I believe. But again, I think guys like Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Ray Rowe, I think those guys go from Ring of Honor to WWE or NXT this year. And finally, my final prediction is Daniel Bryan wrestles somewhere. I don't know whether Vince's doctors will clear him to wrestle against The Miz maybe at Mania, or to have a comeback match later on in the year when he's feeling fully healthy. But other doctors have already cleared him. He wants to wrestle, and his contract is now moving because he is the general manager of SmackDown. So he may go somewhere else and wrestle. So whether he wrestles in WWE or he wrestles somewhere else once he leaves WWE, once his contract is up, I think Bryan in 2017, I think he wrestles somewhere again. So those are my 2017 predictions and 2016 awards. What do you guys think of my choices, and what are your choices for the categories I posed? Tell me in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, I've been wrestling with myself, and I will see you all soon.